NASA just confirmed something no one expected. 3I/ATLAS turned blue near the sun. Scientifically, it should have turned red as dust and heat scatter blue light away. But instead, its color shifted to a hotter-than-the-sun blue, defying every known law of physics. Now, experts are asking, is this a natural phenomenon or proof of active energy inside the object itself? Let's dive right in. When the first signal came in from NASA's solar observatories, everyone thought it was a calibration glitch. But as the data repeated, confirmed by independent stations, one fact became impossible to deny. 3I/ATLAS had turned blue near the sun. And that made absolutely no sense, because according to every law of physics we know, objects like this are supposed to redden as they heat up. Dust, radiation, solar wind, they all scatter blue light and leave behind a warm, red glow. That's what we've seen for decades with comets and asteroids. But this time, the rules were broken. At its closest approach, 3I/ATLAS was supposed to be losing energy, cooling, darkening. Instead, it became brighter. Its green hue faded into a deep electric blue, hotter than the sun itself. NASA's coronagraph images captured the shift frame by frame. No solar flare, no magnetic interference, just a silent, steady transformation that none of their models could explain. What's even stranger is that this blue emission wasn't chaotic. It was stable. The light maintained a consistent wavelength, a precise 450 nanometers, as if controlled by a mechanism. It wasn't just glowing, it was regulating. That's when Avi Loeb, the Harvard astrophysicist known for his work on OUMUAMUA, released a statement that rippled through the scientific community. He called it the 10th anomaly. A moment later, the discussion changed from observation to confrontation. Because what 3I/ATLAS is doing, no natural object has ever done before. Think about the temperature alone. The sun's surface sits at roughly 5,800 Kelvin. That's the limit. Anything that close should be red hot, not blue hot. Yet the data showed 3I/ATLAS radiating beyond that range, as though it was generating its own internal energy. And that idea is what's making scientists uncomfortable. If this object can generate heat instead of absorbing it, we're not looking at a passive rock. We're looking at something that's active. Now, before we jump into wild conclusions, let's stay grounded in what's verifiable. Coronagraph data from SOHO, STEREO, and GOES-19 all show the same thing. The light pulse wasn't random. It followed a rhythm: bright, dim, bright again, every few seconds with perfect precision. Natural phenomena rarely behave that cleanly. Heat, radiation, dust. They fluctuate. But this, it looked programmed. That's where the tension began. If 3I/ATLAS isn't behaving like a comet, what is it behaving like? Some researchers are suggesting something once considered unthinkable: active thermal control. A system designed to distribute heat evenly, maybe even harnessing solar radiation instead of escaping it. That's not speculation, that's engineering. Others, however, are more cautious. They argue that maybe there's something about interstellar objects we simply don't understand yet. Maybe there's new physics at play, an unknown way that matter behaves when exposed to extreme radiation from the sun. But that explanation doesn't sit well with everyone, because if it were purely physical, we'd see signs of disintegration, dust tails, fragmentation, chaos. Instead, 3I/ATLAS remains stable, intact, controlled. And this isn't happening in isolation. For months, observatories have been tracking minor electromagnetic fluctuations, faint, rhythmic signals echoing in sync with the object's light variations. They're not voice transmissions, not data streams, but patterns, too organized to be background noise, each pulse perfectly timed, like a heartbeat in space. Meanwhile, NASA and ESA quietly intensified their monitoring. They called it routine observation, but multiple insiders confirmed that some of the high-resolution images from late October have been pulled from public access, under review. You don't classify comet photos unless there's something in them worth hiding. The timing, too, is uncanny. This isn't the first time something from deep space behaved in ways we couldn't explain. Back in 2017, OUMUAMUA did something similar, accelerated without any visible outgassing, like it was using light itself for propulsion. Avi Loeb was the first to publicly say what others only whispered. Maybe it wasn't natural. And now, 8 years later, another visitor arrives. But this time, it doesn't just move strangely. It glows strangely. Could 3I/ATLAS be part of a pattern? A second messenger from the same unknown origin? The object's incoming vector came from the same coordinates as the 1977 WOW signal, the unexplained radio burst that some once called a message from the stars. 48 years later, from that same direction, something blue and burning enters our solar system. Coincidence? Maybe. But how many coincidences are we willing to accept before it stops being one? And the more data we gather, the stranger it gets. New readings from infrared telescopes reveal that the blue glow isn't just surface radiation. It extends outward, forming an energy envelope nearly 300,000 kilometers wide, roughly the distance between Earth and the Moon. Inside that envelope, the temperature remains uniform. No fluctuations, no cold zones. Natural plasma doesn't behave that way. Something, or someone, is regulating it. There's a quiet debate happening inside scientific circles right now. Do we accept that this could be a natural phenomenon we simply don't yet understand? Or do we admit the possibility that this object might be engineered, a technological artifact traveling through our system, protected by mechanisms far beyond our comprehension? For many, the second option is too much to say aloud. But data doesn't care what's comfortable. Even if we remove all speculation, one fact remains solid. 3I/ATLAS violates thermal logic. Its heat output does not match its proximity to the sun. It behaves like it's alive. And that raises one final haunting question. What kind of intelligence, if any, would build something to survive so close to a star, and why send it here? December 2025 may hold the answer. When 3I/ATLAS makes its closest approach to Earth, the James Webb Space Telescope will capture its spectrum directly. Hubble will image its structure. Dozens of observatories, civilian, military, and independent, will be watching. Every second of data will matter. Some believe we're about to confirm the first artificial interstellar object ever documented. Others think we're just witnessing physics we haven't yet written down. Either way, humanity stands at a threshold, one blue light away from rewriting everything we know about the cosmos. And no matter how this ends, one thing is clear. 3I/ATLAS didn't just come to be seen. It came to be understood. Because maybe for the first time in history, we're not just observing the universe might be observing us back. No matter what the final data reveals, one fact is undeniable. 3I/ATLAS has changed how we see the universe. An object turning bluer than the sun isn't just a scientific anomaly. It's a reminder that space still holds truths beyond our imagination. Maybe it's physics we don't yet understand. Maybe it's proof of something greater. Either way, discoveries like this push humanity forward, reminding us how small we are and how much more there is to learn. If you believe these moments matter, hit like, drop your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to Galactic Breaking News. Turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next update when NASA releases new data in December. Because here at Galactic Breaking News, we don't just watch the universe. We uncover what it's trying to tell us. On October 2nd, as 3I/ATLAS swept past Mars, NASA's orbiter captured the clearest images ever of an interstellar object, then locked them away. Why? Reports suggest 3I/ATLAS shone brighter, bluer, and moved unlike any known comet, defying every model. Is NASA hiding evidence that challenges what we think we know about the cosmos, or just buying time? The silence is louder than ever. Let's dive right in. When NASA's Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter captured 3I/ATLAS near Mars, the agency's statement was brief: data under review. But that short phrase set off a storm. Because for a moment like this, silence isn't normal. Inside NASA, the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter is a workhorse. It scans Martian dunes, dust storms, even tracks rovers. Every image is logged, processed, and made public within days. Yet this time something changed. The world's sharpest view of an interstellar object, locked away, unseen. That's where Avi Loeb stepped in. For years, he's been one of the few voices insisting that extraordinary events demand extraordinary transparency. When reports surfaced that HiRISE, NASA's high-resolution camera, had targeted 3I/ATLAS using a special imaging sequence not listed in public plans, Loeb called it what it was: a moment too important to bury under bureaucracy. He's not wrong. The European Space Agency's ExoMars orbiter captured its own low-res shots of 3I/ATLAS and released them almost immediately. What they showed shocked even seasoned astronomers. The object wasn't behaving like a typical comet. Its brightness surged unpredictably, almost tenfold, and its light shifted from pale white to an intense electric blue. That shade of blue matters. It's not the warm glow of dusty ice, but the harsh luminescence of ionized gas, molecules reacting violently, releasing energy far stronger than sunlight alone could trigger. At that distance from the sun, such activity shouldn't even be possible. Something was driving it, something we didn't expect. Then came the second anomaly. As scientists charted its path through the solar system, 3I/ATLAS began to drift off its predicted course, ever so slightly but consistently. The numbers didn't lie. It was accelerating. Not from gravity, not from solar radiation, but from something else. It's impossible to hear that and not think of OUMUAMUA, the first interstellar object ever found. That mysterious visitor had also shown strange acceleration. Loeb had once proposed that it could have been artificial, a claim many dismissed back then. But with 3I/ATLAS showing similar, yet stronger, anomalies, suddenly that old idea doesn't sound so far-fetched. Still, this isn't about proving aliens. It's about confronting what the data actually says.